had a shave. It's not often it happens, but it did happen yesterday. It was just getting too much. I thought, well, what the hell? Let's get most of it shaved off. Right, to the live stream. We're a fraction early, so those that are not yet here, I apologise. Now, we are here in sunny, but still a bit cold, Oamaru. Now, we have done live streams from Oamaru before. I just happen to be stuck here for the next couple of days. We've got a bank holiday on Tuesday as well, so I think my last night here is Tuesday night. But today, and it was supposed to happen yesterday, but it didn't. Today, I am heading all the way back south again towards Ida Valley. It's about 120 odd kilometres from here, which is the shortest route via Danzi's Pass. I'm going to have to go that way, which is a big long gravel road. Mrs. Mechanic's ridden that on the monkey bike, had a great time. Well, let's be fair, the weather's a lot better today, so it should be good. So, who have we got in the workshop? Let me just log in and see what's going on. In the workshop in Oamaru. Jeez, half asleep. I did think about doing the live stream from the pub this morning because there's a few tables outside, but I thought, no, it's a bit cheeky to be fair, because I was there for lunch yesterday as well. Live, there we are, look. Right, give me a second, we'll find out who's in Oamaru. Oh, by the way, the internet is atrocious on mobile phone data. But in the room where I'm staying, which is Mariner Suites, I have never come across internet as fast. It was like 330, megabytes a second download and 160 odd megabytes upload. It was just unbelievable. And I did edit a video yesterday, and I got that uploaded. It uploaded in like 4 minutes. It was just unbelievably fast. Now we have in Oamaru with me right now is Daz 323323. Morning Andy and crew. Good morning Daz. Welcome to Oamaru. Mike Adams, howdy all. Good morning Mike. Stepping away for a minute. Be right back. All good Mike. We're all busy. Vijay Governor. Evening Andy and crew from South Africa. Good evening Vijayant. Peter Swatman. Hi, Andy. Sorry, there's a bit of glare on the laptop screen. Hi, Andy and crew. Good morning, Peter. And I hope you enjoyed the view. It took me a while to find anything of real interest in Oamaru. Sorry, Sheldon. But I thought, well, big machinery. That's a cool backdrop. And this machinery actually is used, by the looks of it, for unloading containers. The one in the big shed, which is on that side, that's used for unloading containers off the trains. There's a railway line that runs just behind that wall there. Daniel Beddle. How you doing, Andy? I'm all good, Daniel. Hope things are okay in your world. Sheldon. I was hoping to get the bit about Oamaru out of the way before he joined us, but anyway, sorry, Sheldon, mate. Sheldon says, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, matey. MF50B, morning, Andy and crew from Rydale. Rydale, eh? Daniel, then it would really blow your mind. You might have gigabyte upload and gigabyte download. It was very impressive, I must admit, and it's the first time I've stayed there before, but it's the first time I actually used their own Wi-Fi, and it's just I had to do it twice because I thought it made a mistake. I did one of those like internet speed test things, Mike Adams, I'm back. I'm making a big pot of cowboy beans in the crock pot for supper tonight. Oh, that'll taste nice. I used to, when I was a kid, I was telling Mrs. Mechanic actually not so long ago, there was we went on the monkey bike ride, we went past somebody in the garden was burning leaves and old twigs and stuff, you could, and the smell, I really like that smell. It brings back a lot of memories. And when I was a kid, probably 7 or 8 years old, something like that, maybe even younger than that, one of my granddads, I used to call him Grandad Plugs, he's passed away now, unfortunately, died of cancer. He one night built a little bonfire down the garden. It was on like a little concrete patio bit, and we cooked Heinz baked beans, bits of sausage, and I think there was a bit of cheese in there, I'm not sure, and there was like chunks of potato as well, and it just tasted amazing. It was really, really good. Couldn't get enough of it, Excellent. So whenever I smell that, the burning leaves and stuff, it always brings back that memory. It's funny how the brain works, isn't it? Sheldon, Humber Street. Hey, I think so. I got to the petrol station this morning, got me coffee, right? Got me coffee from the BP place. It's not a wild bean. It's the other one, Hungry As place. A little bit downgrade from BP. Sorry, BP petrol station. They always do a great job there, but the pies weren't ready. Sacrilege, and I nearly aborted mission. I thought, no, I'll wait. I said, how long will they be? Because they were busy warming them up. She said about 10 minutes. I'm like, ooh, that's gonna be really tight for the live stream. But anyway, got me pie, just got set up in time, and here we are. So Sheldon, no idea of the street name. It is. It's behind me, Humber Street. There you go. Good, well spotted. Ted McConaughey. Hello from New Mexico. Good morning, Ted, and welcome to Oamaru in the South Island of New Zealand. Simon, here we go. Late to the party. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Simon. Always a privilege to have you on board, sir. And I did spot your new lathe that you purchased. Looks very tidy. I do like that kind of stuff. Daniel, been working. Sorry, I missed many of your recent live streams. Beatty, you're not the only one. I almost missed them as well, to be fair. The Giants, Andy, or someone else, can please tell me what is the best glue to stick stainless steel together too thin to weld? Well, I think I'll leave that over to somebody else. I've never tried to glue stainless steel together. I have no idea. Sheldon, I should do a drive-by. He'll turn up and do a burnout behind me or something. You wait. Anyway, quick cigarette, and then I'll venture into the pie. I don't know how warm it's going to be, to be fair, but we'll see how we get on. Calvinator 69, good name. Hi from small town Alberta in Canada. What's the weather like in Canada? Is it getting colder up there, or is it getting warmer? I totally lose track. I really do. Anyway, so what's been going on since the last live stream? Well, we've only had a week since the last one. I do try to do them every Sunday when I'm on the road, because it's a bit of company for me, and it's good to catch up with you guys as well. So now then, what did I do on the Sunday? Oh, that's right. Driving lesson with Eloise in Queenstown, which went really, really well. She's got a license. I think she's on a restricted license now, which is the middle one. You get learners, then you get restricted, and then you get your full license. So she's on a restricted. She can drive on her own, and she's been doing quite a bit of driving, from time to time down here. Her partner's got a van, but it's an auto, so she's fully aware of all the road rules and that kind of stuff. But I brought Mrs. Mechanic's car down for her to use, because we've now got the little Jeep, right? Little Chimney. So surplus. Eloise needed a car, but it's a manual. So I brought the old little Suzuki Swift down for her, but she's not really very good using a clutch and manual gears and stuff. So where she lives is like a new kind of housing estate, and they've put a lot more roads in at the back that haven't yet got houses. They haven't built the houses, so those roads are pretty much unused. So it was a perfect place, and there's a few little hills and stuff. It's not flat, so it was a perfect place for her to get to grips with the car, using the clutch, setting off, stopping, changing gear, all that kind of stuff, without any other cars around. And it was a bit more interesting than just a car park. So we spent about 3 hours trudging around, and I was showing her various different techniques and trying to explain to her how the gearbox actually works, or the clutch actually works, so she could visualize it in her head what's really happening down there. And she got a lot better. But I didn't feel confident, because it was a busy Sunday. There were a lot of Sunday drivers out. I didn't feel confident taking her into Queenstown in the car. Roads are very busy around there. So I said, look, I think we've done enough, because she was getting tired. We've done enough. You'll have to go back out with your partner and do some more practice. And just get the hang of that clutch for hill starts. That's the worst bit, And then once you've got it sussed, you can do 10 in a row without any problems, then venture out onto the roads. And I said, look, maybe you know, why not go into Queenstown, let's say on an early on a Sunday morning when there's no traffic, and get used to the road network, because there's lots of little roundabouts and T-junctions, and it's quite hilly as well. And then that way, you know, you're not pressurised by having a car stuck behind you at a T-junction and you've stalled the engine, and, you know, she gets a bit flustered when that happens, and it all sort of goes a bit pear-shaped. So without any cars around, or very few cars around, it'd be a lot better for her. So hopefully she'll take that advice on board. Within the next few weeks, she'll be driving it like she's driven it for years. You know, it's just that small steps, just getting used to the vehicle. So we did that, and then then we went out for a meal and stuff. So that was sort of Sunday out of the way. Monday I had visits to the motorcycle shop. So I did 2 on the Monday, which were very good. A bit of driving involved, but it was a nice day. It was a really nice day weather-wise. Tuesday morning, drove down to Invercargill. I went down to Invercargill and did a dealer visit in the afternoon. And on the evening, the owner of the dealership, Kevin is his name, real nice chap, was going to go out and collect some vehicles off farm. Kevin's renowned for being a workaholic. He spends a lot of time in the evenings driving, collecting and delivering the vehicles that they've serviced. Provides a great service to his customers, really, really good. But, you know, he doesn't get a lot of personal time. So I said, look, do you want some company? I'll come with you. You know, I don't have to stay in the hotel. I've got nothing planned for this evening. So I'll come with you and keep you company. And he always enjoys that. You know, he is good company, and he's got a lot of stories to tell. So off we went, and we picked up an RRV first, about an hour and a half's drive, quite a long way actually. Picked up an RRV. I think we delivered one as well. Yes, we did. We delivered one, picked one up, and then we went and what else did we do? I think we got some tea after that. Went to the pub, which was nice. Had a phenomenal pulled pork meal, really tasty. Definitely go there again. And then we went and picked up an ATV from somewhere else. Yes, there was no two-wheeler on that night, I don't think, just an ATV, so that was cool. Hey, I'm getting loads of little things blipping through. Hang on a minute, let's see what's going on. I think Ben's busy fixing his ute. Oh, Daniel sent me some stuff. Oh, here we go, look. Oh, hang on, it's not opening. The internet's so bad around here. I'll deal with that shortly. So yeah, did all that, got back to the hotel. Kevin dropped me off about 11 o'clock at night. I was pretty knackered by the end of that one because it'd been an early start. And then after that one, did that. I went back in the morning to the dealership because there was one more thing that I wanted to look at, and they didn't have time to take some of the plastics and a rack off on one of the ATVs. And as it turned out, that one was fine. It was, you know, a potential issue that I had to be aware of. So that was all good. And then from there, running a little bit late, went through to Gore. I did another visit in Gore. That was pretty full on, ran a bit late. And although I didn't arrive late, I arrived a bit early actually. That's right, I was there early, so I was there for quite a long time and still just managed to get everything done. And then went to Balclutha, or Clutha as the locals call it, and did another visit there. Didn't leave there till way gone 7 o'clock, and then had to drive all the way to Dunedin where I was staying for the night. So that was quite a late night as well, and it ended up being what was it? It was a KFC chicken burger for tea. Great fun, of course. It's always weird doing a live stream if you walk past. Very strange. So we did that, and then I did a motorcycle shop visit the following morning in Dunedin, or Dunedin, as most people call it. I like to call it Dunedin just for a laugh. And got that one under the way. That was Friday, and then hot-footed it through to Oamaru. Caught up with the lads here, Sheldon, obviously, and Jamie. Caught up with them late afternoon for an hour or so, just for an informal chat. And then Saturday was a day off. Saturday was going to be a drive down towards Ida Valley to go on farm. I missed a day out actually. Wednesday, that's right, I missed a day out. Wednesday was spent on farm in the afternoon. That's right, yes, on farm. and doing that fuel pump research. And well, as it turns out, absolutely nothing wrong with the charging system whatsoever. So, you know, without doing the testing, you don't know. So the testing's done. Very confident that there's no issues there. It's not a spiking voltage problem that's causing the fuel pump issues on that particular bike. I think the guy's just been unlucky and had some duff fuel pumps, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, that's a different story. Can't elaborate too much on that. But the testing went really well. The scope worked perfectly. The laptop worked perfectly. The little box that I made, everything was bang on. And I did 150 laps of a field, about 50 odd kilometers on that bike that day, and tried all possibilities: high range, low range, diff lock it, so four-wheel drive in both ratios, headlights on, headlights off. I tried all sorts of different combinations. I mean, obviously it was only a one-day snapshot, and maybe that problem could rear up at a different time, maybe on a hotter day or a colder day, you know, but you can't test everything. I can't change the environment, unfortunately, but I was pretty happy with the results. They were concise. That was for that day's testing anyway, so that was good. So yeah, there was an extra day there on Wednesday, and then obviously Thursday, Friday. Arrived in Oamaru Friday afternoon. Saturday was going to be going down Ida Valley. Couldn't get hold of the chap, so we've scheduled it for today after the live stream. So I've got a bit of driving to do this morning. Got me and James, and then back to Oamaru tonight. And then tomorrow, I'm off to go and see Sheldon and Jamie for the day. And then we're going out for a meal Monday night, and then Tuesday morning, I've got a day off. Woohoo! So I'll be editing another video on Tuesday for sure. I've still got one more. There'll be 12 episodes of the trailer build. I've done episode 11, which was the Saturday. The last Saturday we had in the workshop before we left on the Monday. So I've still got the Sunday to do, which is the wiring of the trailer and a few other bits and pieces. So that video will be going out, probably, I like to leave them a week gap. So probably Thursday next week, that'll be going out. So brace yourselves, there'll be another video. Coffee's perfect drinking temperature now. Now then, where do we get to? Geez, you guys have been busy while I've been ranting on. Simon, done a job last week. The guy owned a coffee shop, roasts his own beans. The best cup of coffee I've ever had. It's nice when you pick up these contacts, isn't it, Simon? It's good. Peter, green Loctite. Think 680 is good for sticking shim stock. Oh, interesting. Worth a try. I'll remember that if I ever have to do it. Calvin 869, 9 degrees right now. I'm loving it. Hate the heat. It's fresh here in Oamaru. It's not over cold, and as soon as the live stream's finished, I'm sure I'll be taking my jacket off. The sunlight actually on the back of my legs is really nice. It's keeping me nice and warm. Vijay, thank you, Peter. Absolutely. It's all about sharing that knowledge, isn't it? Mike Adams, for those who don't know, cowboy beans has a mix of a large can of pork and nice, and beans. A small can each of pinto beans, kidney beans, Great Northern beans, and ground beef mixed in. I have to admit, I do like beans. I really like Heinz baked beans. I know they're not real beans, but Heinz baked beans from time to time. I used to eat them all the time when I was a teenager, but time to time now, very nice. When it comes to real beans, your cowboy bean mix, I don't know. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I'm not over keen. But you know, it's got pork in there and it's got some mince as well, so that would probably be good for me. To be fair, I'll probably be able to eat that. MF50B. I think I went to your off-road centre all those years ago for a day quad biking. Good fun, from what I remember. Thank you very much. That was a long time ago, and yes, we did do an awful lot of quad trekking as well as the four-wheel drive stuff. We did our best, we really did, but things changed over the years, and it just got untenable. You know, it wasn't the business itself, it wasn't the activities we were doing, it was everything behind the scenes to do with national parks and forestry commission and all that kind of stuff was just getting too much stuff being imposed. And of course, then we had the financial crisis in the UK as well, and that was sort of the last straw. I'd done that for 14 years and I'd had enough, to be perfectly honest. Stress levels were just going up and had to put the family first. That's the bottom line. It was all about the family. Simon, hang on, we're scrolling down. Simon, bear with me. It's a big machine, that lathe. I only got it as the MT3, the same as the mill. Same tooling and everything. That's excellent. That saves you a big chunk of money. Mike Adams, has the custom motorcycle trailer you built come into play a role in your professional career yet, or would it? That's a very, very good question, actually. Very good question. It hasn't been used since the trip. It's just parked under the house port at the moment. It will be used for other things in the future. That's one of the main reasons why I made it a modular design with the pod and the bike rack, so we can just unbolt those and bolt other things on there for different trips. We do have a trip planned. It's all only in the infancy of planning stages at the moment, but here in New Zealand they use, especially in Auckland and stuff. Oh yeah, Ben's, oh hang on, no, Simon, sorry, Daniel. I'll get to it in a second, Daniel. They used to use the little Honda postie bikes. You've seen that I've got one of those, which is probably somewhere in the garden at the moment, to be fair, for delivering the mail to all the houses and stuff. Well, up in Auckland and in the main cities, it's certainly in Christchurch now as well, and a few other ones I've seen them around. They use an electric-powered four-wheel sort of buggy thing. It's almost like a quad bike. It's got handlebars, and it's got a roof, and there's a big box on the back. And you sit in it. It's quite a substantial machine. I did manage to capture a number plate off one of them, and I used Car Jam to find out what it was and who made it and things. So I've got a bit of spec on them. You know where this is going, don't you? So ultimately, at some point in time, I want to buy one of those just for a laugh, really, because they're quite different. You know, it'd be nice to have an EV on the fleet, just to, if nothing else, to ridicule it. And we have a trip planned using that machine again from the top to the bottom. We're probably going to vary the route quite a bit for that machine. The little chimney will be used. There'll no doubt be a generator on the trailer. Diesel one, I'm sure, which I can get. I'm sure I can get one of those easy enough. And obviously I'll have to make some kind of ramps and bits and pieces on the trailer that again it'll bolt on. Probably involve a bit of welding on the trailer chassis, but again we can repaint over the top of that. That's not an issue. So that if the machine has a problem, we can, or we can transport it at the start and get it home from the end. And if it has a problem en route, we can, put it on the trailer. So the Chimney will be used as a support vehicle for that as well. Yes, Postman Patmobile. That's basically what it is. So it'll be interesting to see. And they're fully road registered. I don't believe there's any restriction to distance that you can travel. So it'll be interesting to see how that thing copes being driven the full length of New Zealand. It'll look pretty odd. Obviously we'll be using minor roads, no doubt gravel. We'll be doing some off-road with it as well, just for a laugh. Might have to take a spare set of wheels with us, some knobbly tyres. I just don't know yet. It's definitely going to happen. I really want to make it happen. It's going to be quite different. And on that particular trip, me and Mrs. Mechanic will share the driving of the Postman Patmobile. So that'll be pretty cool, rather than just one of us drive the Jeep all the time. It'll be a different kind of dynamic. Now, where do we get to? So hopefully, Mike, that answers your question. Well, the second part, will it come into my professional career? I don't think so. It was a lot of fun building the trailer and designing it, and then proving that the design was good. There's a couple of little minor tweaks that I would make. I think I would have put the axle probably 100mm further forwards. As it turned out, there was a bit too much hitch weight when the bike was loaded on. But other than that, man, it performed faultlessly. Really cool, and it's a great little platform to use for other stuff. But professionally, I don't think so. I hope it's benefited a lot of people in the as people more and more watch the videos of building the trailer, which I think they will pick up. There's no doubt about that, because it is a great series. There's no reason why it shouldn't. I think it'll help them design their own trailers and build them in a way that's suitable for the application. Give them some ideas at least. Jim Haynes, I'm a little late, but here now. The race is rained out. Oh dear. So I came and hit the like button. Thank you, Jim. Really appreciate that. And welcome to Oamaru in the South Island of New Zealand. Simon, Heinz sausage and beans, the UK standard. I do like them, I do. Although to be fair, I prefer, we used to have at school sausages that were really sort of bangers. They were probably really cheap. And the outside, they used to cook the sausages separately and then give you the beans on top. And they were really crispy on the outside. They were quite thin sausages and maybe about 4 inches long. Man, they were really tasty. I mean, they probably bought them from some massive commercial operator that, you know, puts all sorts of stuff in them. But, you know, they were actually quite tasty. I miss those. Can't buy them anywhere. They're a school thing, you know. I haven't had those for probably, geez, 40 years. 40 years. Holy crap. Getting old now. Jim, those look like container lifting tractor in the background. It is. That's exactly what it is. It's one of the reasons why I stopped. So, Jim, just for your benefit, there's a railway line that runs behind me, just down there, behind the wall. And that machine there, obviously, some of the containers to Oamaru will arrive by train, and they use that machine to offload them and put other containers on. So, there's a loading shovel as well, which is just there, and probably out of shot. Yes, just so there's a loading shovel. I'm just out of shot. There's what I call a 360. People call it all sorts of stuff, but I call them 360s. Just a bit further up. So as I was driving around Oamaru, I went, "Ooh, machinery! Gotta have a look at that." So that's why we're here. Right. Richard Perry, hi. Andy and crew. Good morning, Richard. Welcome to Oamaru, sir. Sheldon, yes. It'd be a good laugh, all that. Actually, we'll have a good laugh doing that. And you know, who knows what we might do is we might deliver some stuff en route, you know. Maybe Mr. Mechanic will do a few parcels or something, and we can deliver them to different places. Give ourselves a bit more of a mission. Now then, Daniel, just got home, check your messenger. I will. Sheldon, put a 4-cylinder 600 in it. I don't want to, well, maybe at a later date, right? But I want to do the trip as an EV to see how bad it is, basically. How usable it is on a long distance trip. Now, almost forgot, we're going to have to do the pie. I'm not going to score it, it's just my breakfast. I've done these before. It is steak and cheese, Dad's pies. It's already on the board in the workshop. There you go, just for interest. It's not bad, it's actually quite cold now. It hasn't really kept its heat very much. And I would suggest it probably wasn't really warmed up properly at the start. Yeah, it's lukewarm. Oh well. There you go, can you see that? Not really. Dad's pies. It's alright. It's not great. Even the flavour's not great, to be honest. Okay. John Nuttall. Summer's here, the beard is gone, and 25 years younger again. Pretty much. It feels very nice not having the beard. Mind, it's a bit rough again now. But, yeah. Don't know how long it'll last. It requires a lot of upkeep, right? But we'll see. Simon, what about how far a cheap Chinese bike will make it around New Zealand without breaking down beyond a roadside fix? Could go on for a long time, couldn't it? Potentially. Although it could end in the first couple of days. It's worth a try though, isn't it? I do like those adventure trips. I do. So maybe we'll look at that at some point in the future. And we've got the gear now. We've got the little Jeep as a support vehicle. We've got the trailer. So really all the big expenses already done. So doing these trips now is, you know, it's a much easier thing than it was before we did all that. Plus, of course, we've got all the recording gear and stuff, the Sena gear, which is absolutely brilliant. It really is. Oh, a note on that, and I know Mrs. Mechanic's watching. She always watches the live streams. When we were doing the monkey bike trip, for the first few days, I hadn't labelled up the memory cards, given them a reference number. They were just memory cards. So when they came out, when I swapped them across after the first sort of hour and a half, they got put in the box as used ones. They went into a little used compartment, so they were already full. But when I came to copy them onto the hard drive, I didn't know which was which and when, so I just called it card 1, card 2 as I was uploading them. So Mrs. Mechanic's having a real ball ache of a time trying to edit the video up, and nothing's in order. I know, it's entirely my fault. We did discuss it en route, and further on the trip I did number them all up so that I used cards 1 and 2 for the first 2, 3 and 4 for the second 2, and obviously it'll make life a lot easier further down the line. But at the moment, she's cursing me. Aren't you, honey? Mike Adams. Take plenty of packs of AA Duracells or Energizers with you when you do the EV trip, just in case. It'll take a lot of those. I'm pretty sure they've only got lead acid batteries. I'm sure that they're pretty old school design. A bit like a golf cart, I would say. But again, we'll find out. And obviously I've got to work out a way of charging it up as well. So I haven't looked at that side of it yet. I've got no real specs on the machines, just the stuff off their website, you know. Oh, Wade Mayer. My beard days are numbered too. Just waiting for Illinois weather to calm down. Looking like an Ewok lately. I haven't shaved like this, oh man, for at least a couple of years, maybe longer, maybe 3 years. So it was a bit of a jump in the dark. But now I thought, what the hell, you know? It can only grow back, right? It's not a problem. Mike Adams. Okay, got to get back to mowing. I'll listen in while I work. Cheers, Mike. Thanks for joining us, matey. MF50B. Are you happy with your Chimney? As a Land Rover owner, I've always thought of them as a mini Defender. There is actually one. It's a very good point. There is one guy on Instagram, and he's got a grey one, and he's made a brilliant job of almost Land Rover, making it look a bit like a Land Rover from a distance. You know, when there's nothing else to scale in the background, at first glance it looks just like a Defender, and then you start to notice little differences and stuff, and then you realise it's not. But he's done a great job with it, really has. Do I like the little Chimney? I think the little Chimney is absolutely brilliant. I mean, we used to have lots of the old SJ410s, 413s, the Samurais. We never had any Vitaras, or Escudos they call them here in New Zealand. Never had any of those. I worked on a few, but never owned one. And then we did buy a Gen 3 Chimney, which is the roundy one. Mrs. Mechanic had one of those called Betty, black one. That was a good little Jeep as well. Although the Gen 4, the one we've got now, is a major improvement on the previous model. Unfortunately, by fitting the lift kit and the big wheels, we've destroyed its road handling. It lollops around, bounces around, doesn't really follow a straight line at the moment. However, when the trailer was off, it sits nice and level. It has got heavy duty lift springs on the front, only 40 or 50 mil it is, and standard duty on the rear. So when it's not towing a trailer, it's nice and level, and it's going to get a bull bar and a winch put on the front at some point. But I just need to play around with the handling a little bit, because it just tracks. It just tracks a little bit too much. When it was on the original wheels and the original suspension, it drove like a car. It was a lot better behaved on the road. So it's a bit of a shame that it's changed so much. I think a drop link on the steering box will also, a drop arm on the steering box will also make a significant difference. The kit didn't come with one of those, so I need to source one and get it fitted. I'm sure that'll help. But yeah, very cool little Jeep. A lot more torque than the previous model. It's got bigger wheels on now, bigger tires, and the stuff we went through with a trailer on the back, which weighed, you know, nearly a ton, nearly 1,000 kgs, it performed unbelievably well. I really thought we were going to get stuck, or it was going to run out of power, and it didn't. It just kept going. It was tenacious is the word I would use. It just point and shoot. It took pretty much anything on that we threw at it. Um, Obviously, I was, a bit concerned, thinking that maybe we're going to get stuck. But the main concern was if we did get stuck, how we would get out, because we didn't have a winch at the time. But no, the little Jeep never let us down. Very, very cool little machine. If you've got the opportunity to buy one, you're looking for a small four-wheel drive, can't beat it. I don't think. I think it's probably the only one now on the market of that size that's got your proper beam axles, your live axles front and rear. It's not independent. Good coil sprung suspension on them. I think it's a great little machine. I really do. I can't sing its praises enough. Cool. Calvinator 69. What time is it there at the moment? It's 3 p.m. on the button here in Northern Alberta. Okay, well it's now, it would have been 9 a.m. when you type that. It's now 9:05 a.m. on Sunday morning, and it's the 23rd of April 2023. I had to put that bit in. Yeah, so 9:06 we're on now. And after this, I've got to go back to the hotel, get changed into my work gear, and hot-foot it down to Ida Valley, it's near Ida Valley. It's the same sort of area. So I'll be going down Danzy's Pass, past the pub, which is probably going to be closed. It will be closed. It's always closed. Mind you, it's Sunday. It might be open on Sunday. Go and do the visit, which will probably take 2 to 3 hours, and then it's another 2-hour drive back. So hopefully at some point they'll probably be open. Probably on the way back, I'll call in and have a pint and have some tea there, and then get here and just watch a movie and call it a day. It's very cold now. Daniel. Hang on, Daniel. I'll put the pie down. Daniel sent me some photos. I've kept him hanging. My apologies, Daniel. And what's going on? I can't even open them. Let's see if I can reboot it. Come on. Let's see if I can get in that way. Yes. Right. Sorry, had IT problems. Holy crap. It's like a movie. There's so many photos. Jeez. Right, so Daniel says, I had to remove the old subfloor in the entire first floor of a building and fix the floor joists, and then add a crap load of braces all throughout the crawl space, and lay both new 3/4 inch OSB for the subflooring and then the laminate floor onto it. Not that you can see the results. That looks like a massive job, Daniel. Let me show the people, because I know you don't mind me showing people. Okay, I know you're not able to see this very well, but I'll do my very best. There you go. I'll try and get a bit closer. Look at that. There are many, many, many photos. That looks like a monster job, Daniel. So I take it a lot of the beams were all rotten then, yeah, the joists. Oh yeah. Not good. Huge job. That'll have kept you busy for a while. Wow. You can see where all the we've been doing the replacements and stuff. Heck. Wow. Probably quite a lot of timber to move around as well. All the old stuff you've cut out and the new stuff you've put in. Jeez. It's good to take photos though of projects like that, because otherwise people don't realise just how much work's involved. And he's done a great job with that, putting the laminate flooring in as well, look. Very cool. Huge job. So how long did that, there we are, that's all of them. How long did that take you, Daniel? And were you doing it, day after day after day, or was it a job that you had to keep going back to? Good job. I'll give you a thumbs up for that one. I'll give you a big thumbs up for that one. There we go. Perfect. Nice. Right, I'll plug that back in again, because otherwise, we're using that one for the internet for for Mr. Laptop, you see. Okay. Where do we get to? So, apologies, Daniel, for that be taking so long. Right, no more pie. Mike Adams, the EV you're talking about might have deep cycle batteries in them, like the power chairs. The handicapped people. Could well do. I just need to do more investigation. And at the moment, there's no budget for buying one. There really isn't. I've got to financially recover from the last trip. But I'll do the research, find out who the importer is. Do I tell them what I'm going to use it for? Probably not, actually. They'll probably get a bit grumpy, thinking it's not designed for that kind of stuff. We don't want it being used for that because it will probably fail. You know, the sort of the KTM philosophy. You know, remember Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman, where KTM pulled out because you're going on an adventure and you might not do it. It's an adventure. So we're probably looking about, you know, it can be a year to 18 months before we get that trip, you know, started. But we will see. We'll see. And I don't know. I have no idea what the costs are. I might be able to pick up a second-hand one if they dispose of them through auctions, but probably won't. They might even be on lease from the importers. They may not even sell them to the post office. I don't know. I do know that there was a big recall on the ones in Auckland. Something to do with an axle failure or brake failure on them. It was very serious. It even got in the newspaper. Now, Calvin 869. It's Saturday here, lol. Yes. Here in New Zealand, we live in the future. Simon, has your hotel got death sockets today? No. But that other one did, didn't it, right? That was horrific. Absolutely. I mean, you know, just stupid. Forget code, forget all that kind of stuff. It was just stupid. You know, a little kid, little tiny fingers, and you know, bedside tables are not very high. So let's say maybe a 3-year-old that's wandering about, or a 2-year-old that's just learnt to walk, could quite easily have put their finger in there. Quite easily. It's just Chinese crap that's coming into New Zealand. It really is terrible. Daniel, all good, no sweat. Thanks, Daniel. 6 days to do all that work. That's pretty full on, mate. I couldn't do it in 6 days. It'd take me weeks. I've still got a deck to build at the back of the house. We've got all the timber down pretty much, apart from the top, the flooring timber. Got all the joists and all the bolts and everything. Just had no time to do it. And I really want to get it done because it'd be so cool to have a deck out the back of the house. Although I'll have nowhere to park all my extra vehicles under cover anymore, but it's going to be a deck, has to be. Unless maybe I build the deck strong enough to take the vehicles, then it can be vehicular storage and deck. I don't think Mrs. Mechanic would like that though. She's looking forward to a proper deck out the back of the house, which she can then develop and turn into a nice place. Simon, Danny Badgel, is that vegan flooring or does it have laminate? What the hell? Daniel, Simon, it's lamb. Funny. Simon the lamb is in it, lol. Floor. So, what's the plan for next week? Well, I think I've covered up to Tuesday. Tuesday's a day off, so I'll be editing another video. The last episode of the trailer build video on Tuesday for sure. I don't think it'll be that long a video. From memory, I didn't do that much filming that day. And then I can get on to the video, which will be pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to doing, which is the installation of the Old Man Emu lift kit on the little chimney. It's quite involved. It's not like it used to be on the old Jeeps. There's sensor brackets and also headlight sensor bracket to fit and other bits and pieces. And we did stumble across a couple of issues, and the main problem was the kit was not supplied with any real, the fitment of the springs was not supplied with any kind of instructions. There were instructions for the sort of ancillary components, but there was no real method provided for the fitment of the springs, the coil springs, which I've done plenty before. Most of them have been leaf spring lift kits, to be fair, but there was a few quirky bits and pieces on the Chimney that would have been really helpful to have known about before we went into the job. Ben was there to help me, so that was a real bonus. It definitely speeded things up, and hey, it's proved its worth. It was brilliant off-road, it really was. But I think the video will turn out really well, and of course there's a lot of Chimneys around the world, so hopefully, you know, a fair few people will find that video helpful when they come to do the job. It'll give them the heads up that I didn't get when I bought the kit. Now, after Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm up to Timaru. I think it's Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday morning, Timaru. And then I'm into Ashburton on Thursday and Friday morning. That's right, Thursday and Friday morning is Ashburton. Thursday's a training day, and Friday morning is the actual visit, service visit itself, where I do, you know, training's training, and you know, you've got to separate the two, otherwise it all gets a bit confusing for everybody. Friday afternoon I think is just admin. I'll be staying in Christchurch Saturday, Sunday nights, and then Monday morning I head over to Rangiora, which is about 45 minutes north of Christchurch, and then from there over to Hammer Springs, staying in Hammer Springs for the night, and then I'll drive over the top to Nelson. That's about 4.5 hour drive. Goes through, I think it's Lewis Pass we go through, which can be very, very scenic up there. It's a nice pass is that one. And then I've got 2 more visits to do, one in Muchuika, pronounced wrong obviously, and the other one obviously in Nelson, and then I just cross my fingers to see if I can get on a ferry basically, and then I stay for one night in just north of Wellington, and then I drive home the next day. So I won't be home until I think it's about the 4th or the 5th of May. This is a long trip, and I've had a lot to get done, but it all needed to be done, you know. But saying that, even though it's been a long trip, I haven't been working every single day. I mean, obviously Tuesdays and Anzac Day, I'm away for a bank holiday. It's not ideal, to be fair, but it's okay. You know, I'm making use of it, and I'll do some editing and things. But I couldn't afford to delay the trip another few weeks until a bank holiday didn't fall in the trip. Yes, it's slightly more expense for the trip, but it's still a lot cheaper to do the South Island in one hit, drive down, do everything, drive home, than it is to break it up into various smaller trips where I've got to fly down every time and hire a car and that kind of thing. It just becomes, the amount of time you spend traveling when you're doing that kind of stuff is just ridiculous. I worked it all out, and if I was flying to the South Island, I'd have to break this trip up into 3, possibly even 4 separate trips, because I had all the field research to do as well. So that would involve me driving from Taupo up to Auckland to get on a plane to fly over Taupo to get to the South Island. So the Monday, the first day of the week, would be pretty much spent just traveling, as would be Friday. So you only get 3 days of that week to actually do any real work. And then you multiply that out by the number of trips that you've got to do, and there's a lot of dead time. I'd much rather just drive down, but that's just my take on it. Whether it happens again next time, I don't know. I don't think it will. I think I'll have to fly. Now, something's going on with the phone. I heard a little plinky plink plink, so we'll see what's going on. Might be Mrs. Mechanic. No, it's not. But, thanks for the thumbs up. All good, matey. Yeah, so what's Ben doing? Let's have a little look, see what Ben's doing. Oh, he's got a very poorly wheel bearing on his front hub. One of the tapered rollers has died. Hang on, I can maybe show you this actually. It's a very short video, I think, by the looks of it.
Passenger side front hub bearing in the ute. It's been needing adjustment quite a bit over the last 2 years.
Look how pitted that is.
You can see why, look.
It's knackered.
On the rollers. All the time we grease it up, put it back in, and then buy a new one.
Oh, he's going to get a new one tomorrow. That's all right. Looks like I'll be coming to see you in a couple of weeks so you can fit my new wheel bearings for me. Anytime, son. Anytime. Happy to help. Yeah, he bought that ute years and years and years ago, and he paid $600 for it. It had been parked on somebody's driveway for like 12 years, never used. So it was actually in really good nick. It's been a very good machine for him. But he did fit much larger tires to it, so it looks a bit like a four-wheel drive ute, but it's not. It's only two-wheel drive, and he sort of lifted it up a bit as well, which of course puts a lot more stress on wheel bearings and stuff, doesn't it? So he's only got himself to blame. That's all right. It's his truck and it's how he wants it, and that's fine. And it's super reliable. It starts every time. There is a couple of videos actually on it where we fitted some points and stuff to it, I think, and did the rear brakes. I think there's a video on the rear brakes as well. Hang on. Where are we? Daniel. Simon, there's like yes, that one. Daniel, on Monday, I have to rip down an attached garage and then rebuild it. Shit. Calvin 69. Why can't your nose be 12 inches long? What? Because then it would be a foot. Don't get it at all. Mike Adams, would converting a four-wheel air suspension could be an improvement on the Chimney for towing? Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea actually, because then when the trailer, because you see, when you just upgrade the coil springs, when you're not towing the trailer, the back end gets real hard and you don't get much articulation. So maybe that's a good idea. Maybe a couple of airbags inside the coil springs on the rear would be, a bit more advantageous and give us best of both worlds. I'll explore that option. I don't know if it's available for the Chimney. I know you can get it for other four-wheel drives. I'll have a think. Leave me with that thought. Good idea, though. Jim Haynes, air suspension on vehicles in the long run seems to be lots of problems, bag leaks, compressors, etc. It does add more components, you're right, but if it doesn't work, it just defaults back to standard, right? So I don't know. I'll have a think. Is it a big issue, or maybe when I modify the trailer or make the different modules to go on to carry the rechargeable Postman Pat van, there's nothing to stop me setting the ramps a bit further back to balance the trailer out. I'm not limited to the chassis length. I can just make it so it overhangs a bit at the back and it transfers a bit of the weight. Plus, I think on those machines, the battery pack, it must be out the rear, so they are very heavy at the rear end anyway. So if you drive it up forwards onto the trailer, most of the weight will be at the back, and that would help to balance it out. So work in progress. We'll see how things go. Jim Haynes, just a note for info, Timken actually invented tapered roller bearings and still a huge bearing company today from Canton, Ohio. Timken bearings, I used to use a lot of those on the little Jeeps. They're readily available in the UK. Although, to be fair, I do prefer Koyo, the Japanese Koyo bearings. I find that they're my go-to bearing, but I've got no problems with Timken. I've used plenty of them over the years. Simon had a tapered bearing friction weld itself to the hub on the wife's old car. One of them, 100 miles from home, just kept going when the rumble got bad. 6 miles from home, the hub was smoking. Had that on trailers. Definitely had that on trailers. Roger Heaps, he's finally out of bed. I'm only kidding, Roger. Roger's a farmer. He would have been out of bed a long time ago. Good morning, Andy and crew. Seems I've missed the live stream a little bit missed it. I'm going to be signing off in a few minutes. So, Roger, you have missed this one from Oamaru, but pretty sure you can watch it, once I've finished. We've just been rambling on about bits and pieces and the trip down the South Island. I have an apology for you though, Roger. I didn't come to see you. As it turned out, my schedule in Invercargill gained an extra, I can't elaborate because this is social media and it was to do with work, but it gained a significant addition, did my schedule while I was in Invercargill, and that set me back on time quite considerably. So I just wasn't able to get to you. So we'll have to do it next time round, matey. I do apologise. Right. Looks to me, I'm surprised Sheldon didn't bring the shop van actually and park it just there to get some free advertising. Missed out there, Sheldon. Could have joined me with a pie. Could have brought a pie down. Well, the cigarette's nearly gone, so I'll give you maybe a 2-minute warning, and then we're going to sign off. And then I've got to hot-foot it down to Ida Valley and get on farm and see what I can do to help this chap out. Ooh. Battle wounds of the... Oh my word. Have you been hurting yourself again, mate? Hang on. Daniel's been hurting himself. Bum bum bum. Oh, it's working now. I'm going to have a look at these first. Oh, yes. That's not too bad though, is it? That'll soon fix. Yeah. What the hell? What do you do there? That's a nasty one. Are you gluing it back together? Oh my word. Bugger. I'm not going to show, they're a bit gory, I'm not going to show those on camera, but yeah, it's not easy, is it, being a tradie? You're always constantly hurting yourself. Simon, have a good week, Andy and crew. There you go, Simon's giving us a segue. That's it, cigarette's gone. I'm going to sign off now. Got lots to do. It's getting warm with this jacket on. Thank you all for joining, and next week's live stream will be from Christchurch somewhere. I've no idea yet, but we'll find out. Okay, crew, thank you again for all your support, for joining us this morning, and well, for everything basically. It's good to catch up. All right, guys, see you next time. Cheers. I'll run out.